Hey folks, welcome to a new episode of Howdy Hot Rod. In this episode, I go down to Davenport, Washington to hang out with Andy McCulloch from the Road Knights and see his car collection, which includes a John DiAgostino custom car. Alright, welcome to another episode of Howdy Hot Rod. Now this one's a little special to me because it's actually one of the members of my own car club that I'm in, the Road Knights in Davenport, Washington. Got Andy McCulloch right here. How you doing, Andy?
How you doing, Randy?
Yep.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, appreciate you showing me what you got here. So, you got a few cars. How many?
One or two, yeah.
One or two?
I have 10 right now.
Yeah.
I've always had at least 5 or 6. I've had as many as 15 or 16. So, but 10's about average. Some of them come and some go. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, off the top of your head, can you list them?
Right now, sure. I have 1977 Stutz Blackhawk, 1959 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, 1967 Lincoln Continental Custom, 1931 Ford Model A two-door rumble seat, nice. 1972 Ford Thunderbird, 1961 Ford Thunderbird convertible, 1960 Chevy Impala two-door hardtop, 1972 Mustang Mach 1.
That one's my favorite.
There we go. And 1984 Lincoln Town Car with an interesting history to it. Ooh. So,
all right. Now, are you more biased to one or the other, a brand or anything like that? Because you're all over the place: Cadillac, Stutz, Ford, Lincoln.
Yeah, and I grew up as a Ford guy because my dad was a Ford guy. He always bought Fords and Mercurys and things, and so I sort of gravitated to that, especially Mustangs and Cougars at first. But I really love all cars, and I love big, outrageous cars. I love the cars from the 50s with the tail fins and that sort of thing. So while I kind of am a Ford guy at heart, I'm not necessarily stuck to Fords. I've had Cadillacs and Chryslers and all kinds of things, Lincolns and things in between. So a lot of it is just what my particular interest is, regarding different cars and aspects of those cars that make them unique and make them attractive to me. So,
okay. What got you into cars anyway in the beginning?
You know what? I have been a car guy as long as I can remember. From the time I was a little kid, according to my mom, my first word was car. Yeah. And I had just about every Hot Wheels car you could have growing up. I built model cars. I've always been a car guy as long as I can remember. So. So it's really been a part of me, for most of my life.
What was your first car?
First car ever was a 1969 Dodge Charger that I bought for $400 in high school.
Yeah.
And I'd had some front end damage. I had to repair it, and we fixed it up. I worked in a body shop at the time, and that was my high school car. And I got teased a lot about why the horn didn't play Dixie and why there wasn't a Confederate flag on the roof and all that sort of thing. But
did you ever jump it?
No, never did. Although I was challenged to, but I never did. So,
so that love of automobiles seemed to have carried through for your career too, right?
It did. Yeah, it did. I don't work for an automotive company, but an automotive related company. I work for Michelin.
Okay.
And I have a hand in designing, the tires that keep you on the road and keep you safe, and that's very fulfilling for me because I always wanted to do something in the world of automobiles when I grew up that I could make a difference in, that I could say I'm doing something that helps the automotive industry, helps improve it, helps keep people safe, and that type of thing. So
okay. And recently you gave a presentation to the Road Knights Car Club at their monthly meeting.
I did?
Yep.
Yeah, about the basics of tires, tire manufacture, the construction of a tire, how to read the sizing, the DOTs, all of that, all the things that it's good to know about a tire, even if you're not a car guy or a tire guy. So. And
it sounds like you get to travel quite a bit with the job.
I do, yeah. Most of it is around the western states, but I do get all over the country since the R&D facility is out east. So.
Very nice.
So it keeps me on the road a lot, that's for sure.
What's the most interesting part about that to you?
About the traveling?
No, about your job. Or is it the traveling?
Well, the traveling gets a little old, but the thing I like about the job is it never gets monotonous. You never see the same thing twice, and a lot of it is diagnosing tire issues while testing. Some of it is crash investigation work. where the tire's been blamed for an accident, a bus crash or something. So there's always something new. And even when you think you know what's going on with a situation, or you think you know what to expect when you look at a tire while it's being tested, sometimes you'll end up being completely wrong. It's something else entirely. So it's always new and interesting, and you're always learning something new and learning about new technologies and how they respond to being used in the field, in a tire, on a vehicle, under different circumstances.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
All right, let's go check these cars out.
That sounds good.
So, one of the cars that caught my attention, I think I already know about. It's a John DeAgostino car, isn't it?
It is. It is a John DeAgostino car. It's called the Golden Sunset.
All right.
It's a 1967 Lincoln Continental. And, you know, I'd wanted a DeAgostino car for a very long time. And they don't always turn up for sale. When they do sell, oftentimes it's privately between collectors and things. And I stumbled onto this one. And I remember this car when it was built. So when I found it, I had to have it, and it was kind of a fortuitous circumstance. It was kind of funny how I found it, but I'm glad that I did, and that was a big fulfillment for me, because now I finally have a DeAgostino car in my collection. So.
And you were saying that when you got it home, you opened that trunk up and found a box full of stuff that the person selling didn't even know about.
Right, there was a cardboard box in the trunk with the whole history of the car in it.
Yeah.
Magazine articles, construction pictures, receipts, notes, even notes that Gene Winfield himself had written, because Gene Winfield painted the car twice. And that box was still taped up. It had never been opened. So,
wow.
So there was a lot of history about the car in that box, which was really neat to see. So.
And you brought it out to the Road Knights show a week or two ago?
Yep, I did.
And man, it presents well. You plan on keeping it pretty much original to the way you found it?
Oh yeah. I think the way it was done is pretty much perfect, and you know, Gene Winfield is he mastered the faded paint job. He was the grandfather of that, and I love the car just the way it is. So yeah, I don't have any plans to change it, nor would I. So.
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm not a big Lincoln fan. I've had one through the years. But man, they got some long lines, and he painted it right to go with those lines.
He did, and one of the things I always liked about John DeAgostino is he has a way of taking the factory lines of a car and just really improving on them and making them look even more perfect in a very subtle way. You know, because this car has a 2.5-inch roof chop, but you almost wouldn't know it by looking at it.
Yeah.
It almost looks factory, you know. And that's one of the things that he does that I really like. He doesn't do anything too outrageous, but he accentuates the best lines of a car, regardless of who that manufacturer was. So
it'd be really interesting to see it next to a completely stock one, just to see dimensions changed, and you know, maybe this angle's a little different right here, but we won't know until you're looking right at another one.
Right, until you put a stock one right next to it. That's exactly right. So.
And did they keep was it a 460?
It's a 460, and it's still a 460. It's all stock. They didn't change any of that, although it only has 67,000 original miles. So it was a low mileage car when they started, which was interesting.
And it's a 67.
It's a 67 with 67,000 miles, exactly. So, and there haven't been very many miles put on it since, you know, it was modified 25 years ago now. So it's held up really well, you know, over the years. So.
And there's a pretty good chance we'll get to see it next year at a few major shows, right?
We will. You will. I have it set up for a number of shows. It'll start out in the Spokane Speed and Custom Show.
Okay.
And from there it'll go to Portland and Seattle and maybe down to California.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be seen on the show circuit again, and hopefully we'll bring back some good memories for a lot of people. So
Awesome. Well, I mean, it's awesome to have in the collection, of course, but we got to go see some more of these cars.
you bet. Lots more to see if you want. Up here we have a 1960 Chevy Impala two-door hardtop. That's actually the second one I've had over the years. I had a black one many years ago and sold it and really regretted it, and so went out looking for another one.
Okay.
And found this white one with blue interior. So it needed a little bit of work. I had to put an engine in it and a transmission and rebuild it, but the body work was done, but it's all complete now.
Nice.
So this one I'm not going to sell it this time. I'm going to keep this one.
Okay.
I regretted selling that first one years ago. So this is a car you don't see a lot of, and it's not a super collectible car, but it is a car that is near and dear to me. This is a 1972 Ford Thunderbird, and my dad had a 72 Ford Thunderbird when I was a kid, and I remember it very well. I went to pick it up with him at the dealership when he went and got it. And I've always been a Thunderbird guy too. I've had Mustangs and Thunderbirds, all kinds of different things. So when I found this car, it was just like Dad's car. His was a different color, but this is a 13,000 original mile, one owner car that is still completely correct, right down to its original 1972 dated Michelin X radial tires.
And how would you know that?
But it's been documented as quite possibly the lowest mileage and highest option 72 Thunderbird known to exist left. For 1972, Thunderbird production really jumped up from 71. They built about 58,000 of them. And despite that, there are very few of them left around now, mostly because it was just a Ford. It was a used Thunderbird, and people just drove them into the ground and didn't keep them. There wasn't anything special, not like previous Thunderbirds, So.
Like the one behind me.
Like that 61, yes.
All right. And you said that was a full restoration on that 61.
That was a full restoration, yeah. That was over a 3-year period, and it was a ground-up restoration. Every nut, every bolt was done. Everything was gone through on it. And that's only the second time I've done an in-depth restoration like that. It's a lot of work, so I probably won't do one again. But it was well worth it, and that was always my favorite body style. The Thunderbird's the 61 to 63, the Bullet Bird they call it, was my favorite body style, especially the convertible.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to bring that car back to, better than showroom condition. So.
Nice. And then right in front of us here, the Ford.
Yes.
What year?
1931, Ford Model A. One of the few that you see anymore that has not been hot rodded. It's all stock, and that was important to me because my mom's dad, my grandfather, had a 1930 Model A when she was growing up, and it was the same color as this. It was burgundy with black fenders, and she used to tell me she remembered riding in the rumble seat with her sister when they were little kids. So I made a few changes to it. I converted it to 12 volt from 6, and it's got an overdrive in it so that you can drive it at highway speeds. But other than that, it's essentially stock. It's pretty much the way my grandfather's car was, based on old black and white pictures that I had.
Cool.
And it's a lot of fun to drive. It gets a lot of attention on the roads. Even people that aren't car people, they see it on the road and they know it's so different from anything you see nowadays.
Right.
That it gets a lot of attention. People wave at you, they give you thumbs up and things. So it's a lot of fun to drive.
Top speed?
From the factory, about 45, 50 miles an hour. With the overdrive in it now, 60, 65.
Really?
But it's a lot of fun to drive, and it requires work to drive because you have to adjust the throttle and the timing and everything while you're driving, and that can all be done right from the steering wheel. So it's not like these new cars now that drive themselves. You had to drive it and you had to keep it on the road, and
There's more style, and you had to pay attention to the vehicle.
You're right. Yeah.
What's a future car that you really want? What's on the bucket list of, man, if I could find that, I really need that?
You know what? It's one that's been on my list for a long time. Is 1971 De Tomaso Pantera.
Ooh.
And I nearly bought one years ago when they were relatively affordable. They've gone up quite a bit now in value. But that's been one of my bucket list cars for a long time.
Now, what you were telling me about that's not in here right now. What about this 84 Lincoln, was it?
Lincoln Town Car, yeah.
Yes. Now, fill me in real quick on the story on that one. That's pretty special, it sounds like.
It is. That's an 84 Lincoln Town Car Cartier Edition, which were known for their two-tone silver and white paint jobs. And my dad had one of those. So I stumbled onto that car, and I thought, it was kind of like with the Thunderbird. I found it, and I thought, that's just like Dad's car. And I remember that car. I drove it to my senior prom. And I found it, and it was out east. And it had super low mileage. It was immaculate. It was the cleanest one I've ever seen. You don't see a lot of them around anymore. But when I called about it, I learned about its history. And it kind of has a unique history because it belonged to one of the most notorious bank robbers in U.S. history. And that was a guy named Jerry Clementi.
Okay.
Who was a police officer in Massachusetts, and he and some of his cohorts robbed a bank in I believe it was 80 or 81, and got away with something like $6 million.
Wow.
And that car was bought with some of the proceeds of that robbery. Now, they all eventually were caught, but that car remained parked in a garage forever while they were all in prison, while they went to jail. And he eventually got out of prison, got out of jail, passed away. He was getting old. And the family just wanted to get rid of everything that had anything to do with him because they considered it a kind of a big black mark kind of a disgrace to the family. So I was able to, not only did I get the car, but I have all sorts of paperwork on it from when it was new, from the dealer with his name on it. I even got his parole papers. They gave me all kinds of paperwork on his back. They just wanted to get rid of everything. So the whole history is there with the car, including the book that was written about the whole heist, and they made a movie about it as well.
And what's the name of that movie?
It's called The Cops Were Robbers.
The Cops Were Robbers.
Yeah, and it has Ed Asner in it, Lou Grant.
Okay.
And it's and I didn't even know about it. I looked that up after I got the car and watched the movie on YouTube.
Interesting.
So it's interesting, and I read the book as well.
Oh.
So it's got a real interesting history to the car. Now, I haven't taken the door panels off or anything yet to see if there's anything stashed in there, but the car is absolutely clean, and it's just like the car my dad had. So
interesting.
So again, while it's not something everybody collects, it's a car that is special to me, and even more so because of its unique history. So
that's neat. I love stories behind the vehicles. The history on them and where they came from, and who owned them along the way.
Yeah.
So, like I do with everybody, I got to ask you, Andy.
Yeah.
It's the name of the show. How do you hot rod?
How do I hot rod? When I hot rod, I like to drive something that's a little bit different than you normally see. You see a lot of Camaros and Mustangs and things like that. I like cars that are a little bit different, that you don't see all the time. Some of them can be more outrageous, like the 59 Cadillac. Some of them can be a little more toned down, like the Thunderbird. But they're all different in their own respect. They're not something you see anymore every day on the road, even at car shows. So when I hot rod, I like to have the car that's the only one of its kind at the show and that you don't see a lot of. So
unique is good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Well, Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And how about we go see that Mustang real quick?
Let's go do that. So this car has 351 Cleveland.
Okay.
Q code 4-barrel. So there was an M code 4-barrel, which was the standard 4-barrel that had a 2-bolt main bearing cap, and it had different heads on it. Then you had the Q code 4-barrel, which is this one. This one had essentially the leftover Boss 351 engine that used hydraulic lifters instead of solid lifters, and it had the 4-bolt main bearing caps, and it had the different heads with the canted valves.
Okay.
So it was a higher performance version of the 4-barrel that was available. And this car also has the optional factory ram air as well.
Well, Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate for taking me for a ride in the Mustang here. This is nice.
No worries at all. This is it's been a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking cars and playing with cars. I always tell everybody that, you know, I'm an engineer, but engineering that's really what I do to pay for what I really do, which is play with cars. So
nice. Well, thank you for watching How Do You Hot Rod, and stay tuned for a new episode coming soon.